Episode 25. It's movie night time. It starts off with uh, Casey and Tierra talking, and she's talking to him because he had just talked to Anaya, and you could tell she's a little worried. And she was like, "Well, what happened?" And she's like, "Are you two still exploring your connection?" He was like, "No," and he was acting like he felt bad. I mean, he looked like he felt bad, but I don't know. But then she says, I wanted to ask you when Bryce took y'all over there and said he was a boyfriend, what'd you think? And she was laughing at it. Like, what's so funny? She's done a few things, and I'm like, okay, she's the type of person I wouldn't want to hang around with. Because what? So Carl and Anaya are in Say Less, I think, and he asked her how she felt about their connection, and she said she feels good. And then she said the real question is, how did you feel? And he said he feels good, and so they start kissing and everything. And it was like this hot little heavy makeout. She thanks America. She's lucky because, girl, Jaden, I think is her name because I never remember it. She's talking about how Caleb isn't, she's used to men being a little more assertive or whatever. But they're, yeah, they need to recouple or she'd go home or something because they're not really bringing a whole lot to the table here. Kinsey tells Dylan that she kissed Gall, and Dylan's reaction. Well, first of all, Kinsey's always talking to somebody like they're her, like she's talking to the person that she wronged, but she's saying it like she's talking to them like they're her bestie or something. But she did that with Jen too. But anyway, his reaction was really odd to me. Like I could see being mad and annoyed, but he broke down and cried, and I was like, "Is this real? Like, is he trying to maybe just have a moment? I don't know." But that was an odd reaction. And then she cradled him afterwards. This whole thing was weird. So he's walking out, and Kata and Zach are there, and Zach is like, Zach and his, I don't know, something just about his input in things that drives me crazy. And he was like, "Did she kiss him?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Told you." And then Dylan started crying again. He did ask them if that was an odd reaction so soon, and they were like, "No," but I was like, "Yes." Anaya and Sincere are talking, and they're talking about their friendship, which was odd to me because I didn't know they had this great friendship till just now. So I'm like, oh, something is probably about to come up in the movie night because they never showed us their bestie friendship before this. So let's see, Casey or Tierra was talking about Casey talking with Anaya, and she was saying how she's glad they were able to talk, so now they can be themselves. Caleb was talking to Trinity was there, Bryce, and I forgot who else, and he said, "What's frying?" and Trinity said DJ, and he was like, "Oh," and I fully expected him to say, "What's DJing?" Dylan uh, talking with Kenzie, and he's telling her he appreciated her apology and all that, but he was really hurt. But then they end up making out, or I think they ended up sleeping together this night. Kenzie's telling Anaya what happened. You can tell Anaya doesn't really agree with what Kenzie's doing, but Kenzie says she's going to focus on Dylan now. Carl is talking to Gall. Gall was trying to get Carl's advice, and he was like saying what uh, uh, Gall was talking about how he thinks Kenzie just likes a lot of guys, and he's gonna start looking for other connections. And he mentioned Amora, and then Carl was talking, and then Gall asked Carl about him and Anaya, and Carl said, "Yeah, my walls are still up, but I kind of didn't stick to that because we made out yesterday." We already know, Carl. Just go ahead. So Kenzie was telling Jen, again, talking to Jen like she's not the one she's wronged. And she's talking about how it's all about Kenzie. I've thought, because she's like, it's all about her feelings. So she wants to get him out and she doesn't really care how she says things and who she's saying it to. So she told Jen that she kissed, that she kissed Gall. So Kenzie tells Jen that she kissed Gall. And I don't get the big attraction to Gall either. I don't think he's very attractive. But anyway, she said she kissed him. And Jen said, I know, I heard, basically like, I don't know why you didn't tell me. And so, and Kenzie was just talking to her before that, like, you know, hey bestie, guess what happened? I'm like, what? So anyway, Jen told her, she said, if this wasn't Love Island, I wouldn't be friends with you. I was like, ooh. And she said, I don't trust you. And so instead of feeling like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that, Kenzie got annoyed. And she was like, well, I'm definitely not a bad friend and da 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 da. Like, she said, wanted to pull you and she should have. And Jen was like, okay, well, why didn't you? And I truly believe Jen was being a little nicer than she would have been if this weren't Love Island and if they weren't on camera. Like, she let her know. I was glad she told her that because. And then they show Kenzie in her confessional, and she was like, I want to move on. I want to be friends with her, but saying those things to me, like, you can say whatever you want, but how dare she tell you how she feels? Girl, shut up. Here comes Sincere with his BS, and he's telling Melanie that I just want us to be a team. One hand washes the other. First of all, him and his metaphors and his sayings, and then he gets his sayings wrong, which is just bugs me. Like, because one time he said he was talking to Soul, and he said to her, "You're like a." She said, "What do the guys think about me, or what do you tell the guys about me?" And he said, "I tell them you're a ball of fresh air. It's a breath of fresh air." And just now he said to Melanie, he said, "I want us to be a team. One hand washes the other." Isn't it like, it's not that though? It's you wash my back, I wash yours. So, but I've never heard one hand washes the other. Like, shut up, sincerely. So again, Kenzie is talking to Dylan about what Jen said to him about her kissing Gall. But she did then tell him she wants to explore him. He asked her, and she said yes, but she didn't seem believable. Well, she wasn't convincing. So Melanie gets a text about movie night. And Zach started rattling off stuff to Kata, and he goes, "I kissed some girls and da da da," and she's like, "Oh, you're annoying me. Why are you telling me this now?" She's like, "Ew, get away from me." And then Tierra was like, "I apologize. I didn't advance anything I said." Yeah, I hate when people do that. Don't. Mm-mm. Then they all kind of did it, and they were like, "I don't care." So finally, it's movie night. So it starts with Zach talking to, what was her name anyway? They keep calling her the Angel Girl, but anyway, talking to her, Alana. Her name was Alana. But anyway, they're talking about Spider-Man stuff and just vibing, I guess. And then they showed some clips of them kissing. There were a few of them kissing. I didn't think his was that bad, but anyway, he apologized for kissing her or whatever. One thing they didn't do, production didn't show, because he was telling her, he said that last clip was me telling her about how much I want to be in a relationship with you and our connection, and that did happen, but production didn't show it. Makeda was a little hurt. She was upset. She said it just sucked to see, but that was kind of the end of that for them. And then they show Casey. They show a clip of Casey saying something about Anaya. They don't have anything in common. Oh no, he said me and Anaya ain't done shit. That's what it was. And then as soon as he saw that, that's the reaction he had. And might I add, Corbin was funny to me in this during movie night. He was funny, and so they were showing clip after clip of them of Casey talking bad about Anaya, and he was like, "Grandma." He called her when he called her grandma, and Corbin was like, "She's always sleeping." And Anaya was like, "I'll be sleepy." She didn't take that part too bad, but they kept showing clip after clip, and then they showed him talking with Tierra about, well, she's not your girlfriend, and you're gonna explore me, and you know how Casa girls have to come in hot, I guess. Well, they tend to come in hot. I don't know if they have to, but they tend to. And this is Tierra's face. I don't know why, but. And this is when Casey was like, "Girls in the village don't understand my powers and stuff." But and then they did. I think we heard Bryce say, "You're different. You're different now, or you seem different." Then they show him talking to Sydney, and when him and Sydney start kissing, I think Casey got on top of Sydney, and Corbin took time out of eating his popcorn. It was like, did Titi know about this? Like, and then they also show that clip of Sincere telling Tierra that he's never seen KC that way before, and Anaya was like, "Really, Sincere? Really?" So they show the coupling and KC coupling up, and then the girls ask, "Where's the angel?"